Hello, dear students. This is your trainer, Mustafa Mirchawala. And the objective of this class is to discuss the recent change in IFRS 15. IFRS 15, especially for F7FR students, right? First of all, many students are saying that they cannot get the exact answer of the exam kit. What's the reason? Because the questions are designed with the old structure, so that's why you can't get the exact answer, because the things are changed. Number one. Number two, IFRS 15 also comes in final account, and again final account questions are old in the exam kit, so they are designed in such a way that you can only tally your final SOFP with the old method, right? Because the data is given in such a way, and now the structure is changed. So that's why you find a change, you find difficulty, right? But again, I'm saying complete IFRS 15, almost 99% IFRS 15 is same. 5 stages: stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, stage 5, everything is same. Sale and repurchase, substance over form, all these things are same, still same, no change, no change. Only there is a little change in construction accounting. Hope you remember the construction accounting. When I taught you guys in class, I taught you in 4 steps, if you remember. The first step with the construction accounting, always you used to check that the contract is in profit or loss. The total contract is in profit or loss. Okay. If profit is expected, then book it according to stage of completion. If loss is expected, then full loss should be booked immediately, right? Prudence. Then in the second stage, you compute stage of completion. For stage of completion, you have two methods, input and output. You know that, right? Then on the third stage, you used to calculate PNL. You used to calculate PNL according to stage of completion. And in the fourth stage, you used to calculate contract asset or contract liability. Now, this fourth stage of construction accounting is changed. Fourth stage of construction accounting is changed. Previously, how you used to, previously it was difficult, now it's easy. Previously it was difficult, now it's easy. To be very honest, now less working you have to do. Previously, you used to do in such a way: cost incurred to date, add profit recognized to date, less progress billings, and you used to get it, right? But now it's very simple. See, this is the SOFP working. This is the SOFP working. Look at here. Revenue recognized to date. That means revenue whatever revenue you have recognized in the income statement, whatever revenue you have recognized in the income statement, just write it here. Okay. And less amount invoice to date. This is the exact wording: amount invoice to date. Whatever amount of invoice you have sent to your customer, the difference is if the difference is positive, then it is a contract asset. And if the difference is negative, then this is a contract liability. This is the simplest working you have to do. Now the question is, sir, will we get these things ready-made in the exam? Yes. This revenue recognized, you can pick from the PNL. This revenue recognized, you can pick from your PNL working. But be careful, be careful, be careful. See the words. It is written revenue recognized to date, because SOFP is always as at. Since your basic level education, we have been teaching you this thing, that SOFP is always as at. SOFP is always as at, remember? So don't forget, it's revenue recognized to date, right? Less amount invoice to date, Now, one thing more. Sometimes they give you data like this. Just for example, look at here. Let me use some numbers. That revenue recognized to date is 1,000. Revenue recognized to date is 1,000. Amount invoice to date is 600. So your contract asset is 400. But now it is written that amount received from customer. Whatever I'm teaching you right now, I have already taught this in my LMS. This thing is only 400. Now, what is this? Just use your brain. You sent invoice to your customer for 600. You sent invoice to your customer for 600, but customer only paid you 400. So why customer didn't pay you full? You sent invoice of 400 to customer, but customer only paid you 400. Why the customer didn't pay you full? Because there is one thing which we call in the construction industry, that is called retention receivable. Construction industry worldwide, I can say, because I have experience of USA construction as well. Now it's full of errors. It's full of errors everywhere. Say it developed nation or developing nation, they all are equal in the construction industry. You know, when you call somebody for construction, and when he does the construction, after sometimes you find many errors in construction. After sometimes you find many errors. Sometimes the other party uses the low quality material or something like that. So what we do, we keep some amount, we hold some amount of customer, we hold some amount of supplier. Like, if I'm doing construction, if I'm giving construction service, so if I have sent my customer the invoice of 600. I have sent my customer the invoice of 600. So customer won't pay me complete 600. Customer will hold some amount, and that is called retention receivable. Retention receivable, or sometimes in construction industry it is called retention money. Retention money. So now, first of all, you need to calculate contract asset. And contract asset is calculated using amount invoice. So this contract asset is calculated using the amount invoice. And now there is one more thing which we call retention receivable. Look at here. Amount invoice to date is 600. You sent invoice to customer for 600, but to date customer has only paid 400. So this is called retention receivable or trade receivable. Sometimes people call it trade receivable. Retention receivable or trade receivable 200. So now what you will do, in your SOFP, you will post two current assets. In your SOFP, you will post two current assets. In your SOFP, you will post two current assets. One is contract asset 400 and other is retention receivable 200. One is contract asset 400 and the other one is retention receivable 200. Okay, right? Now, what is the difference between contract asset and retention receivable? What is the difference between contract asset and retention receivable? Listen, this contract asset is only in our books. This contract asset is only in our books. Customer doesn't know anything about it. But this retention receivable is receivable in our books, and this is payable in the customer books. This is payable in customer's book. There is a corresponding payable in customer books. I repeat, for this 400 contract asset, only we know this is our internal working. But with the retention receivable, because we sent the invoice of 600, we sent this invoice of 600 to customer. So customer is aware of this 600 amount, and out of this 600 customer paid just 400. So there is a payable of 200 in the customer books. So this 200 receivable is in our books and 200 payable in customer books. But this contract asset is our internal working. Okay, it's sort of prepayment. You just assume it as a prepayment, or we did this investment on the project, right? So these are two different things. Normally in the exam they ask contract asset. Okay, now one last thing I can tell you here. There is a one shortcut people apply. Normally my recommendation and honest recommendation is always do these two workings. If you get a complete question and they are asking both, so do these two workings. 400 is the contract asset, 200 is the retention receivable. This is the pure working. This is the breakup which one should report so that the shareholder can identify things clearly. But sometimes what people do, listen, just forget this. You know the total answer is 600. 400 is this. 400 plus 200, the total answer is 6. 4 plus 2, the total answer is 6. Okay. There is a shortcut. What people do, they simply write amount received here. They simply write, see the amount received is 400. If I directly write 400 here, I'll get the 600 amount contract asset here. So that means if I write the amount received, here, so I will get this 600, and this 600 also includes retention receivable. That means two things are embedded. Two things are combined in this 600 now. 400 is the contract asset and 200 is the retention receivable. But this thing is not recommended. It's a shortcut. Although you will get the balance sheet balance, you will get the SOFP balance, but still there is a high chance of presentation error, right? So what you should do, you should write amount invoiced here. So this will be 400, and then a separate working, separate working here for retention receivable. Okay, right? Now let's move to the question. Normally in Kaplan new updated kit, I haven't seen Kaplan updated kit, but in BPP kit they have given the updated question. So I can share you some examples. Okay, and I repeat, it's not difficult, and I will only discuss this SOFP side. We have already done everything. And everything is same. It's in our LMS, in learning management system. Everything is there. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, how to do construction accounting, everything is same. Just the last step is change. SOFP 1. Now let's move to the question. This is the BPP kit question. Caraway company entered into a contract on 1st January X5 to construct a factory for seed company. The total contract price was 2.8 million. Total price right now is not relevant because for SOFP we need revenue recognized to date. Wait, to generate a profit. Okay. Caraway company has enforceable right for payment in respect of the construction completed to date. The contract states that the performance obligations are measured according to the certificates issued by the surveyor. That means it's output method. Okay. Now, Caraway company measures satisfaction of the performance obligation under the contract by reference to the value of work certified as complete. This is output method. At 31st December X5, the contract was certified by the surveyor as 35%. The ready-made state of completion is given. And now use your brain. Use your little brain. Listen, you book revenues and cost according to stage of completion. But for this SOFP working, you only need revenue recognized to date. So let's calculate revenue recognized to date. So how much is the total price? The total price is 2.8 million. Which is 2,800,000 times the stage of completion. Okay, let's see what's the number comes. 2,800,000 times 35%. 980,000. 980,000 is the revenue recognized to date. Now what you have to deduct? Less amount invoice. Very simple. Amount invoice to date. Now can you see the question? Yes, we can. 800,000 has been invoiced to the customer but not yet paid. We have sent the invoice of 800,000 but we haven't received a single penny. So yes, we only want amount invoiced. This is 800,000. So what is your contract asset? Contract asset is 180,000. So this is your answer. That's it. This is your answer. This is your answer. That's it. It's done. This is your answer. Please check. Okay. One more thing, just extra thing. If they ask you retention receivable, so complete 800,000 is your retention receivable, because what is written here? 800,000 has been invoiced to the customer but not yet paid. So what does it mean? It means complete 800,000 is not yet paid. So complete 800,000 is your retention receivable as well. But they are not asking, so just keep quiet and enjoy your life. That's it. Next, C. Sorry, first question number 80. Question number 80. The company recognize the revenue on the basis of cost incurred to date as a proportion of the total cost. Okay, that means the formula for SOC is cost incurred to date divided by total estimated cost. This is input method. They use input method. Students, you guys have done a lot. You have done this IS. You know the meaning of input method. Okay, so now what is cost incurred to date? Check please. How much is the cost incurred to date? 48,000. And what is the estimated cost to completion? What is the estimated cost to completion? It's 48,000. So I'm sure you remember this. If you want to calculate total estimated cost, remember total estimated cost. Total estimated cost means cost incurred to date plus cost to complete. Total estimated cost is cost incurred to date plus cost to complete. So 48 plus 48 is 96. 96,000 is the total estimated cost. And how much cost has already been incurred? It's 48,000. Cost incurred to date is 48,000. So 50% is your stage of completion. 50% is your stage of completion. 50% is your stage of completion. And I'm sure you know this. Okay. Now read the requirement. Whatever they are asking, just read the requirement. Only they are asking the contract asset. Only they are asking the contract asset. And there is no rocket science for this contract asset. Simple words, simple words. Let me write again. Revenue recognized to date. Wait. We recognize revenue according to stage of completion. We recognize revenue according to stage of completion. So how we do it? Just your total contract revenue. Your total contract revenue multiply by contract revenue multiply by stage of completion, which is 50%. So see, this is your revenue recognized to date. This is your revenue recognized to date. This is how we used to make the PNL. This is how we used to make the PNL, if you remember this IS. Now, less amount invoice to date. Now, open your eyes, open your eyes. Amount invoice, this is your amount invoiced. Okay, 5,400. 50,400 is your amount invoice. So 96,000 simple is your contract asset. 96,600 is your contract asset. The answer is A. Yes, if examiner asks you, see these two things. See these two things. If examiner asks you the retention receivable, if examiner asks you a separate one more requirement, retention receivable, so yes, take the difference between this and this, because you sent the invoice of 50,400 to the customer and customer just paid 40,000. So the difference of 10,400 is the retention receivable for sure. But as in this question, they are not asking this, so why to worry about it? Now listen, next question, be confident, be confident. This is not a big change, this is an easy change. This is an easy change, to be very honest. Now, Yelling company entered into a contract which is expected to last for 24 months on 1st January X4. This is the starting date. The fixed contract price, this is relevant. Yes, your revenue, your total contract revenue is 5 million. So how will you calculate the revenue recognized to date? Use your brain. How will you calculate the revenue recognized to date? Very simple. Total contract revenue multiplied by the stage of completion. Total contract revenue multiplied by the stage of completion. Come on. At 30th September X4, the cost incurred to date is 1.6 million and the remaining cost to complete is 2.4 million. So that means total estimated cost is 4 million. See, cost incurred to date plus cost to complete. Cost incurred to date plus cost to complete. This makes total estimated cost, which is 4 million. Okay. Now, Yelling company measures the satisfaction of performance obligation under the contract based on the percentage of the project certified as completed at 30th September X4. The percentage as completed was 38%. Thank God, it's ready-made. Stage of completion is ready-made. Now wait. Revenue recognized to date is 5 million. 5 million means this multiply by how much percentage is stage of completion? 38%. So 5 millions times 38%. Come on, do it. 5 millions times 38%. 5 million times 38%. Yes, 1.9 million. 1.9 million less amount invoiced. Okay, less amount invoiced. Look at here. On 20th September X4, Yelling company received a payment from the customer of 1.74 million, which was equal to the amount invoiced to date. So yes, in this question, amount received and amount invoiced is same. So we just want amount invoiced. We just want amount invoiced because we want this contract asset, in the requirement. So it is 1.74 million. 1.74 million. Now you can calculate the difference. It should be, I think, 160,000. Yes, 160,000 is the contract asset. 160,000 is the contract asset. So simple. It's very simple. Nothing to worry about. You guys were panicking because the questions in the old kit is different. Now, this question I have taken from Kaplan kit, but I just added one thing in that, right? Okay. I amended that question with the latest requirement. Now, Sevier Company entered into a contract to construct an asset for a customer during the year and identified the performance obligation as one which is satisfied over time. Sevier Company recognized progress towards the completion using an output method. Output method means students, output method means work certified to date divided by contract price into 100. Output method means work certified to date divided by contract price into 100. Now use your brain. What is the work certified? This 600,000 is the work certified to date divided by contract price, which is 1 million times 100. Work certified to date divided by contract price times 100. This is the formula. We all know this. So it's 60%. Okay. So your stage of completion is 60%. Your stage of completion is 60%. Now, again, what is the requirement? What is the requirement? What is the requirement? See, the requirement is contract asset. Again, the requirement is, my dear student, contract asset. Okay. So now how do you calculate contract asset? You simply write revenue recognized to date, which is, how do we calculate the revenue recognized? Total revenue, total price multiplied by the stage of completion, which is 600,000 less amount invoiced, to date. And I have already told you that in the new questions, you will get the amount invoiced. See in this question, this is part of question. See, this is the question. So amount invoiced is 500,000. So that means finally your contract asset will be 100,000. Contract asset will be 100,000. This will be your answer. Contract asset will be 100,000. Contract asset will be 100,000. Okay. So I have solved 4 questions in front of you. I think that's more than enough. This is how we have to do. I think in the article which was published by the examiner for this change, they have solved 1 question or some, but these 4 questions are enough. So if you do it properly, and if you know the how to do it, you can score good in it. Okay. So be confident and don't worry about it. Take care and best of luck for your exams, and don't waste your time now. Each and every hour, each and every minute is very important. Take care. Best of luck.